Hello everyone, VIZIO from HDTV Test here. If you are a Best Buy member in the USA, the VIZIO OLED TVs have just undergone a steep discount to a level that I think won't be beaten even on Black Friday. So the 55-inch model will cost you only $900, $899 to be precise, and the 65-inch model will cost you $1,500 or $1,499 to be precise. Now, I would like to thank Tyler Pruitt of Portrait Displays for first bringing this to my attention, and also Chris Heinonen of the Wirecutter for providing these screenshots. But these are some extremely appealing prices because when you think about buying a TV, I think the $1,000 mark is the psychological barrier. And to have an OLED TV under $1,000 is going to be so, how should I put it, revolutionary. Because previously, under $1,000, the only TVs that you can get of high quality would be full array local dimming LED LCD televisions. And even now, as I compare the competition against the VIZIO OLED at $900, let's say the 55-inch version, the 55-inch Hisense H9G is $650. The TCL 6 series mini LED television is also $650. But the higher quality full array local dimming LED LCDs, let's say from Sony and Samsung. So for example, Sony will have the X900H. That will be $1,000, which is even more expensive than just a VIZIO 55-inch OLED. And the Samsung Q80T, which is their cheapest full array local dimming LED LCD for the year 2020, is even more expensive at maybe $1,100. I think, I'm not 100% sure of these prices because I just glanced at it before making this video. I'm not familiar with the US market. But I think, it is fair to say that the Sony and the Samsung full array local dimming LED LCD TVs, their cheapest versions, are still going to be more expensive than this VIZIO 55-inch OLED at $900. So the benefits are just insane, in terms of OLED. If you have never experienced an OLED before, this is probably the best time, to get an OLED under $1,000. And I cannot stress enough, how much the picture quality improves with pixel level light control. So you are going to get true blacks, you won't get any blooming or haloing artifacts that will affect even the best full array local dimming LED LCDs with thousands of zones. They still can't avoid blooming or haloing artifacts. That's just the nature of their local dimming algorithm. Whereas, with OLED, you get pixel level dimming. Every pixel can be turned on and off independently of each other, providing an ideal canvas for all colors and contrast to pop, really. And the VIZIO OLED, what is the quality like? Now, the thing is, I know some of you will be asking me, where is my review of the VIZIO OLED that I especially imported from the States maybe a few weeks ago? And you know what? I keep asking myself the same question because the thing is, the way I work with reviews is that, I have so many sets in this test room that I need to review at, one time. And currently, I have the Sony A9 48-inch A9. I have the Philips 935 with Bowers and Wilkins soundbar, and I have a TCL TV coming soon. And the thing is, I usually only, finalize the review when there's a deadline to fulfill. Let's say a company is recalling their loan sample, then I start to panic and say that, right, I need to get my act together and put together a review video by filming the B-rolls, by testing it thoroughly second or third time, see whether there's any firmware updates that may have changed my findings. The thing with the VIZIO OLED is that, since I bought it outright, I already own it, I don't need to return it. So I have just been procrastinating and not been able to actually get around to it, to reviewing it. So I think, I genuinely need some help here. So I've been thinking about hiring someone, maybe someone local if you are interested in, let's say, TV technology or say movies or games, maybe get in touch and we'll see what we can achieve together. But, Vinny, my other colleague, is just useless. He's as useless as a condom vending machine in a train station toilet. So, he's no help from that point of view. So I genuinely need some help from somewhere, and I'm happy to pay for it, but it's just, how to go about it. But that's another matter for another day. So let's talk a bit about this VIZIO OLED. I can give you some preliminary findings before I actually compile a full review. So in terms of the picture quality, I think, many of you who are considering buying the VIZIO OLED may also be considering whether it is worth going the next step up to the LG CX or C10 OLED. And I think that if you don't genuinely game, if you don't care about HDMI 2.1 features of gaming, let's say VRR, G-Sync, 4K at 120Hz, then maybe the advantage of the LG CX or C10 is not that much. Obviously, in terms of pure video processing, the LG CX is still better. But is it $500 better? That's really debatable. In terms of the VIZIO OLED, it is quite quirky in terms of the settings and the interface. For example, the luminance or OLED light setting will always reset, whenever you switch input, whenever I restart the TV. So that is quite tricky for people to manage if you are truly wanting a set level of brightness whenever you switch on the TV. So that may be quite tricky to handle. And also there are several other settings which are not optimized. And I think if you are a first-time OLED user, then you may not be experiencing the best picture quality from the VIZIO OLED. But otherwise, after calibration, I'm actually quite impressed with the color accuracy and also the tone mapping. Although, there is always room for improvement, but, I will try and cover all those in my full review at some point. And the other thing I wanted to mention is that I checked out the HDMI 2.1 ports on the VIZIO OLED. I believe it is HDMI 2 and HDMI 3. Now, when I was briefed by VIZIO about their new TVs, maybe back in June, July, I distinctly remember them mentioning that the HDMI 2.1 ports are 48 gigabits per second. But according to my Murideo Seven-G signal generator, which is again very versatile, very excellent, the HDMI 2.1 ports on the VIZIO OLED is only 40 gigabits per second. I say only, it is really not that big a deal because the LG CX or C10 is also using a 40 gigabits per second HDMI 2.1 chipset. So from that point of view, the VIZIO OLED is the same. It is 40 gigabits per second. If you look at the EDIT readout here on the Murideo 7G, you can see 10 gigs at 4 lanes. So those are just some quick thoughts about the VIZIO OLED. I wanted to give you guys a heads up that, it is available at this really tempting and attractive price. And I think, there is no reason to wait any further if you are interested in getting an OLED TV under $1,000. Genuinely, it is a really quite good set, in terms of the picture quality, if you can handle the quirkiness in terms of the UI. So if you like to watch some of our other TV reviews, I've created a playlist here, and I'll see you in the next video.